Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tom.
Hey, we're talking about animals today. Pretty much my favorite animal, I'll be honest. I love dogs. And I love dogs who help people who are at a disadvantage in this world, usually people who have some sort of disability. And these are dogs that actually guide people. They're guide dogs for the blind people, or for the blind. We'll often just say it like that, for the blind. So we're going to talk about these dogs and how they train them. If they're good dogs, most of them are just such good people. They're dogs. Dogs are wonderful, and they have such amazing talents. They can sniff out things like a disease. They can protect you if you're in danger. They love to have you play with them. So that's one of the things that comes along with owning a dog. They want to play. But I bet this type of dog knows that it can't just, jump around and not care about people around it. I'm sure they're really kind of calm dogs.
Yeah, they're specially trained dogs for blind people. So you just can't start playing with a dog that is with a blind person because that dog is working. If you start playing with a dog, it will forget what it's supposed to do, and the blind person will suffer because of that. So yeah, don't play with those dogs. But indeed, we are going to talk about dogs on the job, guide dogs for blind people. So let's get to it. Let's read the entire contents of our lesson now, one time.
When people think about dogs, they usually think of them as pets. People often have their dogs trained so they can behave well around other dogs and their owners. But some dogs are trained to work. There are many kinds of jobs dogs can do, including working with firefighters and police officers. There is another kind of job, though, which is much more personal: being a service dog. A service dog lives with a person who has a disability, and guide dogs specifically help blind people get around. Not just any dog can become a guide dog, however. Training organizations usually raise puppies of certain breeds of dogs, such as golden retrievers, which tend to have calm, steady personalities. After being trained in basic skills, like ignoring distractions, the guide dog is introduced to its blind handler at the facility where they will train together. Because people are used to seeing dogs as pets, it can be tempting to reach out to pet a cute guide dog. Remember, though, that this dog is at work and that its handler relies on the guide dog staying alert to their surroundings. So try to avoid touching it. Instead, step back and admire this hard-working dog from a distance. Let it do its vital work so its handler can go about their normal day.
Okay, let's talk about the contents of today's lesson. It's our unit on animals, and we're talking about dogs, but more specifically, we're talking about guide dogs for blind people. These are dogs on the job. I did want to say that because the word guide ends with a D sound, and dog begins with a D sound, you just kind of push those together. Guide dog. You don't have to say guide dog, just say guide dog. And that will be good enough here. So we're talking about guide dogs for blind people. And here in the first paragraph it says, when people think about dogs, they usually think of them as pets. Yes. Do you want to get a dog? Yes, I'd like to have a dog. They're loyal. They're fun to play with. They get all excited when you come home. But my goodness, you have to take them for walks at least 2 times a day. They bark at the neighbors, and the neighbors will complain, or they bite your visitors and stuff like that. So yes, there are pros and cons to having a dog as a pet, but most of the time people think of dogs as pets.
Oh, sometimes they do get a dog as a pet whose primary responsibility is to scare away thieves and robbers who, want to try to come into your house. If you're an older lady, you might want to get a really mean-sounding dog. Sometimes those little ones bark, pretty big bark for just being little tiny dogs. I want a dog, but I want a big dog. I don't want a little dog. And I know big dogs don't like small apartments. They want to run. They want to jump around. So I can't get a dog for a while. So yeah, people often, though, have their dogs trained so they can behave well around other dogs and their owners.
Indeed, we want the dogs to behave, which means they'll behave, they'll be good, they won't do things they're not supposed to be, they won't crap on the carpet or bite somebody or bark too much, etc., etc. And, well, here it also goes on to say other dogs and their owners, they want to behave well around other dogs and other owners, but some dogs are trained to work, okay? They're not for fun. They are there to work, okay? And you mentioned some police dogs and military dogs and maybe sheep dogs who gather sheep and things like that. Indeed, dogs have many different jobs that they can do.
They do. They can do a lot of things. They're finding out that some of these dogs can actually sniff out a medical condition that probably their owner doesn't know about. For example, I read a story and a dog had sniffed out a problem with his owner. Turned out the owner had cancer. So sometimes they can train them to just be amazing little things. So they are trained to work, a lot of them. Some go with the firefighters. Some go with police officers. I hate it, though, when the bad guys try to shoot the dogs. Then I'm really mad. So they are great pets, but they're also really good workers. But each job has certain requirements. And breeds of dog or types of dogs, they have different personalities, different traits, right? I remember my mom tried to get us a dog when we were quite young. She asked for a dog that was good with children. That was what she said. And then as we got older, we just got a fun dog, an Irish setter. And he was still really good with kids, but if you could defend yourself, until you're about 5, he wouldn't jump on you. After that, you were game, okay? He just wants to play. But my grandma, who is 86, he would never jump on her either. I think he could sense he needed to behave. Just follow the rules, have appropriate behavior. You often will hear teachers or parents in the U.S. go, "Hey, you behave yourself."
Be good.
When
Don't
a
be
kid's
naughty.
been naughty, yeah.
Exactly. So, yes, indeed, there are many kinds of jobs that dogs can do, including working with firefighters and police officers and with military people and stuff like that. But there is another kind of job, though, which is much more personal, being a service dog, a dog that provides a service for somebody. And specifically, we're going to talk about dogs for blind people, or guide dogs.
Yeah, which is really cool. I would love to see more guide dogs around here. I haven't seen any yet, but they're wonderful. A service dog will live with a person who has a disability. Now, it could be someone who is blind, but I've seen service dogs work with little children who are born with physical disabilities, and some can't walk. There's a host of problems with anybody who has some sort of disability. It doesn't have to be that they're blind or deaf. Could be anything. And these guide dogs are really great, and they're good friends to the people that they're helping around. So today, though, we're going to focus on these guide dogs who specifically help blind people get around, which just sounds so scary to me every time I come across. There are a couple of blind folks who live in my neighborhood, and I have helped a couple, the women. There's a guy, too, and I just think I helped a couple just cross the street. I figure they're not going to hit the foreigner, so I'm always the last one. I'll stand right by them so that they hit me first. These cars are crazy. They need to wait for people in the crosswalks. Yep. Yeah, they're pretty wonderful. So we're going to focus on these service dogs who specifically help people who can't see.
Okay, and we'll talk about guide dogs in just a couple of seconds, but right now we're going to take a break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hello， 大家好，现在开始中文讲解开路天使导盲犬。标题 Dogs on the job。On the job 是执勤中，修饰前面的 dogs。 on 可以表什么状态中，例如说 a house on fire 失火的房子， he is on holiday 他度假中。第一句，人们一想到狗就会视为宠物。句子当中的动词片语 think of A as B 视 A 为 B， 常与 regard A as B see A as B view A as B 或者是 consider A B 来互用。接着题目第一题，人们让狗怎么样它们才能 behave well 表现良好。动词 behave 行为举止后面经常接反身代名词 oneself， 例如说 behave yourself 你乖一点。这题呢要考实义动词 have 使变成，后面加受词再加受词补语。受词补语可以是原形动词或者 VING 或者是 PP， 看受词和补语之间的关系。在这句话中呢，受词 their dogs 是被训练的，所以答案选 A trained。 但是有些狗是被训练来工作的，它们可能和消防队员或警察一起工作。请到这段最后面 a service dog 服务犬。第二段第一句 a service dog 和残疾人士一起住 and guide dogs 导盲犬空格2怎么样帮助盲人走动。可以推知 service dog 服务范围比较广，而导盲犬则专门引导盲人。我们看选项 A artificially 人工地， B accidentally 意外地， C slightly 稍微， D specifically 特别地明确地。所以答案选 D。 它的形容词是 specific， 例如specific purpose 特别的用途。要注意不是只有省略 ly， 而是去掉 ally 才会变成 specific。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. We're talking about dogs on the job, guide dogs for blind people. So a service dog who lives with a person who has a disability, and that's what a service dog does. You can't rent service dogs. You actually have to go to a special place that trains these dogs and spend weeks, if not months, working with a particular dog that you want to take home with you.
Yeah, dogs don't have very long lifespans. They can live up to maybe 15 or so.
No, ours lived till 17. No,
Okay.
17, 18 is really stretching it. But yeah, they don't live long enough. Woo.
Yeah, so if you're a blind person, of course, you have to get used to saying goodbye to your trusted friend and getting another one later on in your life. But in any case here, there are lots of jobs that dogs can do, and they can be service dogs or guide dogs. But not just any dog can become a guide dog. However, training organizations usually raise puppies of certain breeds of dog, such as golden retrievers, which tend to have calm, steady personalities. Now, that just goes to show how much I don't know about dogs. Friends of mine who have golden retrievers, they say those dogs are wild. They're really excited, and they run around and jump up and down and stuff like that. A friend of mine in Sindian has a couple of golden retrievers, and every time I go to visit her, those dogs are just jumping all over the place.
Wow.
So I guess maybe when they're puppies, they're that way. But when they grow older, they are a little more mellow. They mellow out, and they have calm, steady personalities. Now, we have mentioned some different breeds of dogs or different kinds of dogs. And, of course, the different breeds of dog, like you mentioned, the Irish Setter. When I was a kid, we had a Basenji. Later on, a friend of mine had a black Labrador. There are German Shepherds, Irish sheepdogs, or English sheepdogs, is it? I can't remember.
One of my friends has a sheepdog that mixed with a poodle.
Yeah, poodles.
So
that's
cute.
another one, too. I don't really like poodles myself. I know
hate
people.
poodles.
Yeah, people in Taiwan love their poodles because I guess they're cute.
Yeah.
But those are examples of different breeds of dog. And here we're talking about the Golden Retriever. And this particular dog tends to have a calm and steady personality. So tend to means it has that tendency. It seems like it's that way most of the time.
Yeah, calm and steady. We use steady to talk about something that doesn't change. You usually want to have a steady job or a steady boyfriend. If you have a steady boyfriend, it means you're not constantly dating other people. You're just with that one person. So, yeah. Or when I was growing up, people used to say, we're going steady, which means that was like your permanent boyfriend in high school or junior high. You weren't just dating, which means you could date anybody you want. But if you're going steady, it just means you really like this one person. You don't want to date anybody else. So, yeah, these dogs have steady personalities. I think they can be trained pretty easily too. So maybe that's why they are hired to do this job. But if you don't give them training, and we never trained we tried to train our Irish setter. He wasn't into it. I think he's very smart. He just wanted to play all the time. So these dogs can be trained though, and you need you need a dog that's really steady and calm because sometimes these people are in really dangerous situations. They don't need a dog kind of going crazy. And this is one dog that if another dog comes by and starts barking at it, it will not engage with that other dog. It knows it's at work. It knows it has a job to do. It will only protect that person.
Although I think those dogs can easily get distracted by people petting them and stuff. So, again, you need to be careful around those.
Don't give them a bone. They love that.
Exactly. Or don't scratch them behind their ears. They love that too.
Or his tummy. Yeah.
They love that. They always go down to their back and roll right over because they want you to rub their tummies. Dogs.
They show you where they want it. Yeah,
they always do that. But, in any case, let's continue here. It says, after being trained in basic skills like ignoring distractions, the guide dog is introduced to its blind handler at the facility where they will train together. So, again, they are trained in basic skills, and then they need to ignore distractions. A distraction is something that makes you lose your focus. So, if you're trying to work at home, for example, there can be lots of distractions. If the phone rings, or if the neighbor's dog starts barking, or there's construction in a nearby building or something like that, or your children come up to you and say, Daddy, can you take us out to get some candy? Those are distractions if you're trying to work at home.
So the guide dog is introduced to its blind handler. That's its new owner, right? At the facility where they will train together. We use handler also when we're talking about spies. If you've ever seen Alias, it was on TV a long time ago with Jennifer Garner, you probably thought her handler was really handsome like I did. So anyway, look that up, Alias. It's A-L-I-A-S, Alias. I think it was on like 5 years. She's really great in it. Anyway, that's the other time we use this word handler. I can't think of another situation where we use this except for spies. So this blind handler is the owner, and then they'll spend weeks, months maybe, it depends on the dog and the person, trying to get used to each other and how the dog works, and the dog will get familiar with the handler. And then one day they graduate from their program and they get to go home.
I did want to mention another kind of handler, a baggage handler.
Oh, yeah.
At the airport. They'll take care of your baggage when you travel internationally. Now, moving on to the final paragraph here, it begins by saying, because people are used to seeing dogs as pets, it can be tempting to reach out to pet a cute guide dog. Indeed, if you're together with a blind person, maybe riding on the bus or something, and they have a dog with them, well, it's going to be tempting to pet that guide dog because it's going to be awfully cute. So if something is tempting, it's something that you really want to do, but you shouldn't. I think the best example would be sweet food when you're on a diet. Pie or cake can be very tempting when you're trying to lose weight.
Oh, yeah. So, You need to be aware, though, that the dog really is at work, and the handler really needs the guide dog staying alert to their surroundings. If you're alert to the surroundings, it means you're aware of everything going on around you. I love my neighborhood. I love the surroundings. I love the stores. I love the park that is close by my house. I love my neighbors. So the surroundings. The police will often use this if you're watching a crime show on TV or in a movie. They'll talk about be aware of your surroundings, which means you can't just put on your your music on and use your earphones and then not watch what's happening around you. You need to be careful of danger at any time. I used to live in New York, and you definitely wanted to be alert to the surroundings and know who was following you. Actually, I had a guy following me last night, Tom.
Oh, really?
And I crossed the street. He crossed the street. I crossed back. He crossed back.
Uh-oh.
I turned down a street. He turned down the street. So finally, I got in a cab. Okay.
Well, that kind of person is called a stalker. If you're a woman being followed by a man, so watch out for that.
Whoa.
But indeed, the dog is at work, and its handler relies on the guide dog to stay alert to their surroundings. I did want to mention that surroundings is most often used in the plural. Your surroundings. Please add an S to this word.
If it's a noun. If you're using it as an adjective, the surrounding fence or the surrounding stores, it's different. This is a noun. It needs an S.
Right, the surrounding ocean of Taiwan. That would be the adjective, but here, of course, it's referring to a thing, surroundings, or things, basically. So, yeah, use it in the plural as a noun. So, yeah, avoid touching it. Don't let yourself touch that dog. Instead, step back and admire this hard-working dog from a distance. To admire something means you really like something, you really respect it. It doesn't go as far as loving that thing, but it means that you regard something with great respect. You really like it, but I would say it doesn't involve loving that thing. That's like your lover, your boyfriend, girlfriend. You can admire them for things that they've done in their life, like you could admire your teacher or admire your boss of your company. Maybe he or she has done some really great things. You can admire and respect them, but you don't really necessarily love them.
So the last sentence says, let it do its vital work. Now, you've probably noticed by now that Americans in particular like to call their dogs a her or a him. I hate it. I know, and people will go, oh, but we don't know if it's a boy or a girl. I don't care. I can't call dogs it, but I know, this is the proper way. So let the dog do its vital work. If something's vital, guys, it's really important. It's absolutely necessary. In order to live, we need water more than we need food, but we need water and air so we don't die. Now I sound like Tom. Well, anyway, here we go. We're at the end of our unit here, our unit on animals. Guide dogs are the best. I love these dogs who have really sacrificed their lives to help people. I hope their owners love them. They deserve to be loved. Right now, we're going to listen one more time to our Chinese teacher, and then we'll be back to say goodbye.
训练机构通常会养特定的品种，名词 breeds 指动植物的品种，例如黄金猎犬 which tend to 往往有冷静的什么。动词片语 tend to v 表示往往倾向于，而 calm 冷静 steady 沉着都是用来形容个性，所以答案选 C personalities 个性。选项 A necessities 必需品， B offenses 罪行冒犯， D unions 联盟都不合题意。接着文章下一句，他又说接受了基本训练，例如说无视分心事物 distraction 分心或者分心的事物，例如说大街上车水马龙 noise is a distraction， 就要让狗不会分心，以免失控造成遗憾。那狗和它的 blind handler 也要一起受训。Handler 原来是指驯兽师或者搬运工，在这里是指它的主人。下一段，因为人们习惯将狗视为宠物，忍不住伸手去摸。形容词 tempting 诱人的，使人忍不住想做什么的，例如 a tempting offer 诱人的提议。 动词形态 tempt， 诱惑人去做什么事情，就是 tempt somebody into something， 或者 tempt somebody to feed。第4题记得，狗在工作中，而且主人会依赖它保持怎么样子他们的周遭。这里的 remember 后面呢有2个 that 引导的名词子句当受词。第一个 that 可有可无，第二个 that 不可以省略。一旦省略了 that 子句，就不是这句的受词咯。Stay 当成保词，所以选项 A frightened of 害怕， B envious of 羡慕， C opposed to 反对， D alert to 警戒。导盲犬要对周遭环境保持警戒，答案选 D。 最后第5题，空格，后退一步，远远欣赏他勤奋工作。这里要放转折语，连接上下2句的文意。上句避免碰到，下句远远欣赏，两句之间相反，所以我们答案选 B instead。 文章最后一句有个动词片语 go about， 表示四处走走或者是开始着手。例如说 I went about with my dog， 我和我的小狗四处走走。所以这句呢，要让他的狗主人 handler 可以 go about their normal day， 表示说让他们可以过正常的一天。以上是今天的讲解，谢谢收听。
That's it for today's lesson. Thank you for joining us, and please join us again next time for another lesson. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.